Position here still stands that every one of us, we are partners. We both lead this family. Even without me, you won't be able to have a family. Even me without you, I won't be able to have a family. So it's partnership.
I myself, I think I'm also biased because for us, we strongly believe that men should be given their position.
No doubt, no one is taking that away from them.
Yeah. So for me, obviously, the man has to lead.
Mine is a bit biased. It comes from a religious perspective of things.
Okay.
So for me, a man should be the head of the house.
A man should be the head of the house.
Yes, definitely.
Brings you the 8 at 8. 8 big questions for a bigger conversation. Sponsored by MTN. MTN. Everywhere you go.
The 8 at 8 conversation is special in every way because we have visitors from Eswatini.
Eswatini land.
Eswatini land. Now, I know you have so many conspiracy theories
Yes.
about this beautiful African country.
Yes. Former Swaziland.
Former Swaziland.
Yes. Changed
We
to
know
now
that the
Eswatini.
king was here during the inauguration ceremony
Yes.
of President Paul Kagame when he came here, and he came with a very beautiful woman. I
Young
suppose
lady.
that was the wife.
Yes.
We also know that in this country, the king marries as he wishes. Okay, at least that's what we know. Maybe we'll be informed
They will tell us.
better.
The recent marriage being the daughter to
South African president.
former president. Yes.
No, former South African president, right?
Former president. Yes. Jacob
Yes,
Zuma's
Jacob
daughter.
Zuma's daughter. Our whole president agrees that a woman can be a 9th, 10th wife.
No, she's the 16th.
16th, right?
Yes.
But the guests we have in the studios here today are here to talk with us in a conversation on gender-based violence. They have an organization. They work with the government. They're actually, one of them works in the Department of the Youth. Call it Ministry of Youth. They are ladies. I have with us in the studios Lisa, who will introduce herself better, and another, a longer name, Sibonga Mboki. I don't know if that's the right pronunciation, but it's difficult. Let me start with you, who has a very difficult name. How do you pronounce your name?
At Sibonga Konke. Grateful for everything.
Grateful for everything.
So you have one name
I'm
like
just going to
this.
call you Grateful.
Sibonga Konke. Sinigetiwe.
The what?
The other one is Sinigetiwe.
Oh,
Hi.
Jesus.
Finished. What's the easiest way we can call her? Grateful.
Call her
Sibo.
Grateful.
Sibo. Yeah.
Okay. So let me edit the name to Sibo. That should be easy. And then Lisa, welcome to Kigali in the morning.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having us. It's such an honor to be here and a privilege. We are loving Kigali, Rwanda. My name is Lisa Badenhorst. I am from Eswatini. Professionally, I am a psychologist, and I am running an NGO called Courage to Conquer. We're focusing on GBV cases, on children that are sexually violated, and supporting their families to understand the situation if they need to be placed away from the community. I'm also more passionate about mental health. So I am a serious advocate of mental health awareness. So I bring a lot of awareness in Eswatini. I also have a lot of trainings in corporate places where I bring awareness about mental health. So it depends on the scope of the company that wants, if they want to talk about stress management, if they want to talk about certain other things that come with mental health aspects.
I can imagine how difficult it is for you to do your job, especially around gender-based violence in a space like your country, where the leadership marries as they wish and women agree that they can be second, third, fourth, up to 20th wife. Isn't it challenging?
It is challenging because in our culture, polygamy is permitted, it's allowed, it's not taboo, but you are not forced to marry more than one. So it depends on if you agree to do that. But the gender equality is quite high, and the violence against women I think almost every day there's a case in the newspaper, and it's usually on the front page, where you see a man has shot the wife, has stabbed a girlfriend, or there's always a case. So you find that, so that's when I was like, you know what, we need to do something about this. It can't be like every day when you buy the newspaper, there's a case every day. So there's even cases that we don't even know, especially in the rural areas, that are not reported. So the rate is quite high.
You sure it's not women trying to fight women because they're fighting for a man?
I wouldn't say that. For me, I believe that another lead of gender-based violence is poverty, because one of the things that we see that's happening in our country, there is the intergenerational relationships where you find young girls dating older men because of money. And another thing is that, you know, as a man, you are the head and you're the authority, and you feel like you have the power to do anything to your wife. So I feel like it's just that gender equality that is a result of gender-based violence.
How does gender-based violence manifest commonly around your community?
In our community, it's more on the children, because you do find gender-based violence among the children because of the family being exposed to gender-based violence from their background, and that's what they know, and then it's also applied to their children, and then it transits. You know, it's like a trend, because this is what you know, the kids, they experience that, and then the same thing that will happen with the children. So I feel like with our communities, we just didn't have to bring the awareness and educate people that even if you were brought up in a family like this, but you can change it. You need to heal from whatever happened, and you're able to treat your family better than what you experienced.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So as we get into the 16 days of activism against gender-based violence, which is this month, right? It's I think around 25th, and we look at gender-based violence statistics in Rwanda. You see that about 56% of Rwandan women have experienced violence in their lives, and about this starts actually between 2019 to 2020, and 37% of women reported experiencing physical violence since the age of 15. Now, you as the Swaziland, as what's the name of the organization?
Courage to Conquer.
And what do you think can be done? Because this is it cuts across all Africa, yes, the continent. And what do you think can be done? What should the continent do to actually fight this? These stats are very high.
Yeah.
These are very crazy and worrying for the next generation. What can be done? What do you think should be done to not to see this in the next generation?
Yeah. I'm very shocked because even in Eswatini, the statistics are quite high, and it's a very alarming situation that we need to address. And one of the things that we also hoping and wanting to start, it's a new project that we want to start. We are going to go to the communities, because we need to start in the communities, where we will select community leaders that will help us engage the communities, where we bring gender-based violence awareness, because some of the people don't know that if I do this, it's against the law. They feel like it's just normal. You know, so one of the things that we need to understand is that we start in the community. We educate the family, the parents, that even if you were sexually violated at a younger age, but learn to heal, get help, seek for help, and maybe go for counseling, whatever that can help you, so that when things like this, you feel like you want to maybe abuse someone, you are able to how can I put it, maybe manage yourself in a way that you are not violating the next person. So I would say parental skills is important. It has to start from the parents in the communities.
Let's just talk to Sibo. Sibo, I see you coming from the National Youth Council in Eswatini. You've also been in Rwanda. I don't know if this is your first time here.
Second time.
It's your second time here.
You came for the last Youth Connect.
2019.
I believe you have seen so much, or even learned so much about what Rwanda has done in the space for women.
Yes.
Giving the woman space, women in leadership. You know, a lot has been done, especially to give women a voice. I'd like to hear from what's happening in Eswatini. Have women been given a voice?
Thank you very much, sir. Eswatini is really progressing in terms of allowing women to take up space. We have the Deputy Prime Minister's office, which works tirelessly with development partners and organizations, civil society, just to help bridge the gap between the women and men, and how all those genders are able to access opportunities and resources that government presents. So we have tried to strengthen policies that enable our young women and women in general to ensure that they are part of decision-making processes, governance, and everything. For instance, in our country, we ensure that in every election there is a woman. We have 4 regions in Eswatini. So in every election, we ensure that there is a representation of a woman for each region. So who then represents women in cabinet. So these are some of the things that we are doing, and we're just trying to ensure that women are part of the processes, and they're part of the engine that rules the country.
There's women being represented, but do women have a voice participating in decision making? And you see that they are advocating to protect women. Is that happening?
It is happening. It is happening. Oh, we also have, maybe just to mention, I was really, I know you did mention that Rwanda, I'm really, I appreciate how Rwanda is, as we are actually speaking with our colleagues on how women are really part of. We are seeing ministers who are women, and young women for that matter.
Yes.
And this is the same thing that our country is really pushing for. And we are seeing much that is being done to promote to ensure that the voices of young women are heard, and to ensure that they are able to speak without fear or favor.
I'm not convinced when I hear Lisa and Sibo. Lisa, you mentioned earlier that it is an okay thing for a man in Eswatini to marry multiple women. And we can see from the leadership culturally that your leader can marry up to 16 women.
So far they are 16, so they could even go beyond that.
They could go beyond that. In that context, when you see it as women, what are you telling yourselves?
Well, what are you telling
Are you telling yourselves that this is our failing? Do you say it's an okay thing, we cannot contend with the culture? What kind of conversations when women sit together, when you talk about women emancipation, when you talk about protection of the girl child, when we talk about women having space and having a say, is there advocacy of saying this has to stop, or everyone has simply said this is an okay thing, we are a special African country?
Okay, I would just say Swaziland is very cultural, and I wouldn't want to say it's okay or it's wrong, because that's how when we were born, this is how things were, and I wouldn't want to question the reality. I truly respect it, and we love our king, and if that's how he wants to have his family in a polygamous way, it's okay for him. Like I said, you are not forced, it's not a must, it's up to you as an individual.
As an activist, do you guys have such activists like you who come out and say, regardless of what the leadership is doing, we do not apprehend with this? Do you people ever talk to your young girls or to the women in leadership and tell them, you know what, as much as this is happening in our country, we don't think we are together with this, we do not support it?
To be honest, I have not actually have a topic or a debate on do you want to be in a polygamous family or not. I just empower women to be dependent, and it's your personal decision. If you feel like I'm in love with this person and already has 2 wives, and you want to be part of that, it's okay, but be empowered. If you feel like you want to be in that family, it's fine. That's your personal decision, because life is about choices. If you feel like this is what I can tolerate, it's okay. Personally, I don't. I have 1 husband and I'm happy with that.
And your husband has 1 wife?
1 wife, and we are okay with that.
If your husband woke up one day and said, I am finding a second one, what would be your
Lisa,
decision?
what would you do?
Okay, for me, because when we started the relationship, I told him this is my values. This is what, because at first you need to understand where the person is standing. So those are the things that we speak about in the relationships. Like, before you enter into this relationship, set your values. Tell the person, this is what I'm expecting in the relationship.
This is what I stand for.
Exactly, because if the person starts saying, I want to take another wife, but when in the beginning he was like, no, I'm not going to take another wife. You are going to be my only wife. All of a sudden he wants to take another wife. Then you can't fight for that, because that was not the agreement. Yeah. But it happens in some cases where you find that you both start from nothing and you're growing and everything. Then once you have money, then you feel like you want to take another wife. And yeah.
So, when we speak about gender-based violence, usually men tend to think that they are left out, and which is not fair. I think gender-based violence cuts across. According to research, I'm seeing about 32% of men aged between 15 to 49 also get violated physically.
Yes, true.
Do your focus on gender-based violence focus only on the women, or you also try to advocate for boy child?
Okay, for me, with our organization, there's another organization. There's quite a number of organizations that are working on men in general. So we do work closely with them, because sometimes with the gender-based violence issues, we also need to understand what the men are saying. What are they thinking? What is the drive or the trigger for them to actually commit violence or being violent towards their women? So we need to understand where it comes from. So at some point, I remember where we would go in the communities, and then at some usually there's a day where the men take the kettles. That's where you'll find like a lot of men. And then we spoke to the community leaders, and we're like, we just want to have a chat with the men and just to understand what's happening. And we were very much surprised. They were telling us sometimes these women are now too empowered, they're disrespecting us, and then it leads to other things. They're emotionally abusing us, speaking certain words, especially with us women. It's easy for us to express and just speak anyhow. But then with men, they don't express themselves, they keep quiet, and then when this thing is bottling up too much, definitely this person will start hitting you. So yeah, so those are some of the things that we discovered as we had the conversations.
And just trying to understand where you're coming from, what does it look like in terms of access to education for boys and girls in Eswatini?
Access to education with regards to boys and girls. In Eswatini, there is equality. Girls are not left behind. I think we are way past that era where girls were being left behind. You're not supposed to go to school. You're supposed to be at home. You're supposed to be a homekeeper. No. In Eswatini, we have really, really tried to ensure that all boys and girls are actually have access to education, such that I think the Deputy Prime Minister's office ensures that with each and every household, there is accountability as to why such kids are not going to school, why these ones are not going to school. If there are any reports of why they're not going to school, they really take it up, and they take it up with the family, and they ensure that all children have access to education. And just to highlight the question she was asking, Lisa, we are really, really trying to ensure that the boy child is involved. We have Kwakhaimvotsa, and in Swaziland it's called Kwakhaimvotsa, Building a Man, an organization.
Kwakhaimvotsa.
You're about to bite our tongues.
It does a lot of initiatives just to empower men as well. Also, as the National Youth Council, around this time, you have what we call the Disango Dialogue. In Eswatini, the cultural home or the home, the setup, there is a Disango and a Liguma. So with the Disango is where men gather and they speak their issues and everything. So we have implemented such, and around this time, 16 days of activism, we have such. And I think last year the men requested that we also include the women in one space, and they just get to speak about the issues so that everyone gets responses in real time. Why is this happening? And we just get to have a dialogue and a conversations around the issues of.
Are you come for the youth, so the Youth Connect ended yesterday. What exactly, just for me, it's not really related to GBV. Okay. What do you take home with you from the Youth Connect?
Oh, from the Youth Connect. I take home solutions towards the youth issues that we are facing in the country, especially youth unemployment, because we currently have 58.2% youth unemployment in Eswatini, which is alarming. And I want to believe we'll be able to have our young people. We want to also strengthen our mindset change component. We have a program called Just Mindset Change Program in Eswatini, where we just try to help all our young people, both girls and boys, to ensure that they are independent and they're able to lead sustainable livelihoods, in terms of them understanding that formal education is good, yes, formal employment is okay, fine, but they just need to think of other ways in which they can bring food to the table and ensure that they have skills, to innovative skills or technical and vocational skills. In Eswatini, the TVET, technical and vocational industry, is quite, I think it's progressing positively. So we want our young people to understand that in as much as they have the certificates with the unemployment rate at this with the high unemployment rate, they can still lead positive sustainable lives through entrepreneurship. So I think Rwanda is doing, and Zambia as well. I think I heard a lot of what Zambia is doing with their I think they have a graduate program where they just place graduates in specific ministries, and just to ensure that they get a practical experience. Work experience, to ensure that they are able to then formally get into the formal employment. So these are some of the things that I believe our country can also emulate. But most of the things we had already started doing, because we have a youth empowerment program by UNDP in Eswatini, and it has assisted about 2,000 plus young people to get placed, and some of these young people through internships, but some of these young people have been able to get formal employment. We also have programs on funding young people for their businesses and startup projects, and I want to believe we'll be able to really incorporate some of those best practices and ensure that we move Eswatini and Africa forward.
I've not done too much research on your country, unfortunately, but if you did ask me any people that I know in Eswatini, I know the king and the women.
It's famous for that.
I don't know if I know any other man from that part of Africa other than the king.
Okay.
How is the population divided, women and women? I actually do not have an idea how populated you are as a country, but what is the divide in percentage? Is it more women, more men?
In general, I don't know about your country, but in our country, it's more women, and especially the youth. Yeah, it's more women, because we're a very small country. We're around 1.2 million.
1.2 million.
Yeah, so it's quite it's a very low number. So, but there are a lot of women than men.
Very interesting.
It's actually 1.2211.
Yes, 1.2.
Yes.
Does that pose a challenge?
Not at all. I don't think so, because it's some like what you're just trying to do, like trying to empower women, making sure that women, they stand their ground, they know their rights and all that. And the men, they're quite, I'd say, with our culture, respect is one of the important things, and the men are trying to respect the women in all aspects, as much as, yes, we do have
initially they never used to.
Yeah, before there was that suppression, but then now they do respect women. So I wouldn't say there's much of a difference. Yeah, but it's obviously there are more women than men.
Why would a man not respect a woman?
Because of background, like I said earlier on. Because of girlfriend.
financial
Power.
power.
The women are not empowered.
And
That
the
weren't
masculine,
empowered.
I'm the man, especially like I
The
said,
African setting.
the African setup, and like I said, respect. If you are the woman and you don't respect your husband, to them it's a red flag. Like, she's not a wife material, or she's just disrespectful. Because respect in our country is really, really taken serious.
I've seen a campaign by one of the NGOs here in Rwanda. The campaign, I think, was called Men Involvement. And I'm just one man with 3 women in the studios today.
It's called empowerment. We are
We
empowered.
are empowered.
I just want to hear from you. How would you want men to be involved in everything that a woman is trying to do today?
For me, I would say support is very important. Believing in your woman is very important, and not suppress it. Because I feel like sometimes when a man sees that the woman is empowered and having a way forward, they feel like now this woman won't be more dependent on me, and probably will lose the respect for me, because now that this woman is empowered and probably will have more financial muscle than me. And for us, I'd also say, even for women, even if you know that you're in a high position at your workplace and all that, but still, when you come back to your house, know your position. You are the mother of the house. Still, you need to respect the husband, even if he isn't making more money than you, So I'd really say, for the husband is to support, and for me it's just to submit to
submit.
But also, men have that inferiority complex that if a woman earns more than them, they get to think that she has started to become disrespectful. Which is not true. It's just
it's stereotypical. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sibo?
For me, I think we want present fathers.
Yes.
Yes.
I think we want present fathers. We have a lot of young mothers. We were speaking of young mothers in the Youth Connect, teenage mothers, and how they they face challenges, a lot of challenges with the father of the kids not being supportive and everything. We just want present fathers, emotionally, financially, and otherwise.
We want to end our conversation today. We're speaking to Lisa, who is from Courage to Conquer. That's an organization that she leads from Eswatini, and Sibo, who is coming from the National Youth Council in Eswatini, speaking to us
her name
this morning. Tomorrow I will. We've had a debate here which has been ongoing in the streets of who should be the head of the family. And I'll start from Sibo, because I know Juliana is an advocate that anyone should be head of family, and there should be no title as head of family, because everyone equally brings a contribution to the home. I'm hearing respect and submission from the beautiful women.
It doesn't
of
mean we don't
Eswatini.
submit.
Quiet. Sibo, who should be the head of a home?
Mine is a bit biased. It comes from a religious perspective of things.
Okay.
So for me, a man should be the head of the house.
A man should be the head of the house.
Yes, definitely.
So where does it leave you? You are the tail?
Not necessarily. Without the body, the head cannot function. So it's just 2 components coming together and working together, collaborating and cooperating, ensuring that we move forward as a family.
Why am I not surprised? It's coming from a Swatini lady. You're so traditional. Lisa.
I knew that Sibo would say that. She's very religious. I myself, I think I'm also biased, because for us, we strongly believe that men should be given their position.
No doubt, no one is taking that away from them.
Yeah. So for me, obviously, the man has to lead. It has to lead, like she was saying. Without the body, the head can't function. So I'm not saying I am the tail. No, I'm also the head in my other aspects. But I would honestly say men should lead.
Juliana, are you convinced?
Well, I do not know what to say, but again, I'm going to put a disclaimer. My position here still stands that every one of us, we are partners. We both lead this family.
Yeah.
Even without me, you won't be able to have a family.
True.
Even me without you, I won't be able to have a family. So it's partnership.
Okay.
We all can be heads. We all can be leaders of the home. There's nothing wrong with that. And I'm not trying to take that away from the men, and I'm not disrespecting them. I'm saying, yes, they're going to always be the men, the head of the upside. I do not know if it's going to excite you taking the title per se, because for me, the title doesn't really mean anything. I think it's partnership. And I mean, for example, the man won't be here today, God forbid. Won't you head the family? You still head the family.
Exactly.
So it makes us both head the families.
True.
No, the head has become dysfunctional. The body is now carrying through.
And how will you carry through? Wow.
But just to share this, I remember one time my husband said to me, I need you to be able to live without me even when I'm not here.
Yes.
And sometimes he would say, I'd be so dependent on him, and he wouldn't allow me to, or even access anything from him. And you'd be like, no, I need you to learn now, because when I'm gone, what's going to happen to you? You know? And I was like, oh, okay. You know, and that made me look things in a different perspective, that, you know what, I need to start being the head now.
Yeah, thank you. See, now you're agreeing with what I'm saying.
But still respecting him.
I'm not taking the respect away from them, no doubt, you know.
Thank you so much, Lisa and Siba, for making time to just pass by and have this conversation with us.
Yeah.
The 8 at 8 comes to an end. It's 3 minutes after 9 o'clock. News is up next.
Kigali